Hey guys, what's going on today? Thank you for checking out my video. This will be my unboxing and a little bit of a review of the Logitech C920S camera and a US Smartree adjustable flex head tripod mount, camera mount. First, I'm going to start with opening up this this tripod here, or mount camera. It's not really a tripod per se, right? It's a clamp style. So, first thing, when I was looking for a mount for my camera here, I was looking for something that I could just kind of clip to my desk or clip to a countertop or something like that. Not something that kind of had to stand up, had to have level surface for it to stand on. I wanted somewhere where I could kind of move it around whenever I needed to. So as you can see with this stand here, right, it's got this nice, really large clamp. It's really tight there, so it should hold on. It's got nice rubber gripping on the inside of here, so I'm hoping that you don't have a whole lot of vibration if anything happens on the desk or anything like that. So we should be good. Should be good there. It'll be a nice test for I'll bang around on the desk a little bit and everything later on. And I was looking for something that would have multiple styles, just the standard camera thread screw. So you could, in the future, you want to mount a GoPro or whatever style of thing to it. And then more specifically, I wanted something that could kind of bend at any angle. Like I said, for my desk here, when I'm at home, I want to be able to mount it, kind of sideways, turn the tripod up and have it angled, kind of whichever way I need it to be, and be able to move it around and flex it kind of however I go. So far, I mean, as long as this stays steady, you should be able to mount your camera at pretty much any angle or anything like that, and it should be pretty strong, pretty sturdy. Wouldn't move around a lot. The biggest thing would be the vibration, like I said before, so that'll be something I'll have to check out and make sure. If you've got a really thin desk that isn't really sturdy, any kind of banging or rattling may cause some vibration in the video quality of the camera, so that's something we'll have to test a little later on. But this is the tripod. Again, I did not get any, there is no paid part of this review. This is just kind of stuff that I was trying to pick up for my Twitch streaming setup, and I wanted to give my opinion on it and show you guys what I think. So next, we're going to go ahead and open up the C920 Pro HD camera, C920S Pro HD camera, and the C920 and the C920. Oh, I didn't bring my knife down here with me, so I'm using a key here. The C920 is a camera that Logitech has actually had out for quite a few years. Highly recommended for a lot of entry-level Twitch streaming and things like that. So this is just something that I decided to pick up. For those that don't know, the camera I'm using right now is actually a Logitech C510. It's about 10-year-old technology. It's a 720p camera. So 720p at 30 frames. This one here will be a 1080p at 30 or 720p at 60. So I'm going to play around with those settings a little bit, see what the differences are there. First thing, again, one of the main reasons I kind of went with this camera here was because I was looking for something that did have the capability to mount to a tripod, just for flexibility of mounting purposes. So we have the standard, let's see, we got some plastic on here. Hold on, let me get this off. This is always the fun part. On plastic. How do you get off of there? All right, this is not frustration-free packaging. We'll just tear you. Looks like the cable's about a standard length. I wish I had a tape measure to kind of figure that out, but looks about the same as my C510 here, so it should work properly with the existing setup I have here mobily and at my desk at home. So yeah, standard length cable. It's not braided or anything fancy. It's just a regular old webcam cable. Nothing too crazy to write home about that. Let's see. So it does have the standard, the Logitech setup where it mounts to the monitor, kind of on the back of the monitor, and it got a little adjustable clip to kind of hold it in place like that when you've got it on the back of your screen there. So that's standard thing for a webcam there. But like I said, it also has this nice thread screw for a tripod mount, which we're going to use, which is what I will be primarily using it for. For example, let me get this guy off now that I've got this here. Thread this guy on there. And there you go. So now I'll be able to put my camera pretty much any which way in whatever direction I want it to face, and we'll be okay there. So with that, I'm going to... Oh, also, I mentioned earlier that the C920 is actually a camera that they've had out for a while. The S is just kind of stands for shutter. They basically added this little privacy shutter thing when the whole webcams being turned on without your consent kind of thing like that came around. So it's got a little privacy shutter that comes with it. So if that's something important to you, this is something you can look at. One main feature that I did also like about these, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet, just depends on how, you know, microphone setup and things go in the future. This does have stereo mics, so it does do, I've heard it does excellent job as far as audio quality. So we'll have some testing with that as well later on. And other than that, I'm going to go ahead and hook this up and see if we can notice a difference in video quality when I'm done. All right. So we're back. I have the C920 now installed and hooked up. No privacy shutter or anything like that. I don't need that right now. But so on the top right of your top left of your screen, you'll have the 510, and then on the bottom right you have the C920, and you can kind of visually tell a major difference here. I mean, the first thing that really stood out to me was from the seating position that I'm in, or standing at the moment, right? From the position that I'm in right now, the field of view is just enormous. Like, I can take my hands and stick them completely, like I've got my hand up against this wall. I can't even get it out of the shot here, but I mean, you can take your hand and completely put it out of the shot, almost out of the shot there, and you can still see it inside of the 920, right? So the field of view is totally different. This whole section of the wall is completely missing. My shoulders obviously take up a substantially more of the viewpoint there. So the C920, huge improvement of field of view. I think that's going to be awesome for, you know, again, my Twitch stream, when you're setting that up, or when you're trying to configure that kind of thing, and you're trying to get the most of your background visible, or, you know, if you're trying to have any effects or anything in the background for while you're streaming. Excuse me. The next thing is ease of use, right? It's typical. I'm using Windows 10 with this setup, so all I had to do was install it. It did require me to restart, but other than that, everything's running smooth. No changes in software, no configurations, nothing like that, anything going on there. So, but other than that, I really like the quality of this camera so far. I feel like the stripes on my shirt are causing a little bit of a, you know, that funny effect you get on some TV shows in the suits. I can notice that a little bit here on the 920, but you don't notice it on the 510. But that's probably because of a quality of image thing, right? So you're probably noticing a substantially better quality of image there, and it's causing that effect, because you can actually tell that my shirt is striped, whereas on the other one it just looks like just a dark blue color. Do I think it's worth the $50 investment? I do. This is a good camera to get if you're starting out streaming. Harris Heller has a channel out there that he's got a whole setup, or a whole discussion on the 920 and how to actually do a little bit of color enhancement to it using whatever your streaming software is. I'll put a link to that video in there as well. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Subscribe. Do whatever, you know, whatever suits you. Come and check me out on Twitch. Link to my Twitch profile is in the description of the video. Thanks. Hey, real quick, wait before you guys go. I totally forgot about something. I was out at dinner, and I remember that there was a specific part of this video that I was going to test, and it was actually one of the main reasons that I bought this camera versus the 510 that I was using before. I personally use XSplit VCam for my background blurring and desktop replacement, or background replacement software. I don't have a green screen at home or anything like that, so I wanted to show the differences between the two cameras and how they look while you're using this type of when you're using the software between the original 720 and the 1080p cameras. So here I'm gonna just do some demos here, and I'm gonna swap out the cameras back and forth with different options that are selected on them, so you can actually see the differences and how that applies to my background here. So the first one I'm going to apply here is I just have it on standard background right now. I'm going to switch over to the 510. It'll blank out for a second. So now I'm on the 510 here, and already, again, like I said before, you can see a noticeable quality difference in the image. But I'm just going to apply a 15-point black background blur here, and it just kind of gives a little bit of a texture difference on those lights and these lights and everything that are behind me over here. So I'm going to switch back to the, I hit refresh there. I'm going to switch back over to the 920, and you can see the background blur, right? You can see all the lights and everything on me. It just gives it a little bit better. We're going to bump that up to 20, we'll go up to 30, right? So now I've got a real nice blur on me. I mean, you can kind of see what's going on, but you can still see the general portion of me here, right? There's not a whole lot of blurring on myself. When I switch back over to the 510, this is what I was kind of noticing before with high blurring environments, right? My hair's kind of faded out. My headset kind of gets a little distracted. My fingers disappear and just gets all pixelated and grainy. You can see how the 720p camera just can't keep up with what the image is trying to do. It just doesn't have enough pixels there to try to determine what you're really looking for there. So we're going to jump over. They also have a replace background option, right? You can see this is, oh, let me turn off blurring here. So you can see in this image specifically here, right, I'm still on this 510 720p camera, and you can see my head and my hands, they're all just kind of lost in it trying to determine what is image and what isn't, and it can't really, it looks like my hands aren't even connected to my body right now kind of thing, right? And really right here in my neckline, right, there's a whole lot of graining, a whole lot of stuff going on. It can't really determine what's going on. We're going to show that in the 920 camera, right? I look so much more smooth, right? There's a little cutting out of the spiking on my hair, but generally there's a whole lot better quality to my image. There's a whole lot better visual factor to me, and that doesn't really fade in. Oh, my fingers still disappear when I put them behind me, so let's not do that too often. But you know, there's still a lot better image quality for myself. And the last one they actually have, and this is the one where I noticed it the most, honestly, was they have a remove background option, right? So this gives me the option to actually blend into the backdrop of my studio here. So it just kind of cuts it out here. I've got nice and clean. As long as I'm not making fast motions or anything like that, I pretty much stay steady. I mean, I look pretty well to myself. Obviously, like I said before, if I move my hands around a lot, it just kind of has a hard time determining, you know, what that should be. It's trying to map my fingers out, right? And it's showing some of the background behind it. But as long as you're not moving around a whole lot, and then when you're doing most of your streaming, you're sitting still. Again, I bought this for Twitch purposes. You're sitting still. You're just kind of sitting like this, moving your arms back and forth a little bit. You're on a much smaller scale, so you know it's actually works really well for that way. I'm gonna jump over to the 510, and it doesn't look good at all, right? So again, like I pointed out before, I got to keep my hands in front of my shirt here because they get totally disappeared when I put them over. Like right here on my neck and on my head, on my headset and everything, it just kind of gets all over the place. It's not a very good image, I don't think. And this is what I was trying to use this a lot in my streaming originally with this 510 camera, and I was noticing that it just wasn't working for me. It just didn't look clean when I was trying to stream it. So I went with, you know, a blurred background versus this style. But with this 920S, I will probably end up switching over to something like this, or a modified background where I can have a little bit more clarity, or a border to separate me from the video, not necessarily put me on top of it. So, but anyways, those were the last couple of things I wanted to add to the video. I just kind of thought about them while I was at dinner. Wanted to make sure I got them in here. I am going to switch back over to this 920 because now that I have it, I just don't even like seeing the other option. Replace background. There we go. I like this Sword Art Online image here. Kirito's my buddy. Not really, but I wish. With that, I appreciate you guys taking out this last little bit. Hopefully you guys didn't cut it off before. If you did, come back and finish the video. Again, if you like the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know. I'm really trying to figure out what the best, what you guys want to see from my reviews and my different options and what I'm trying to provide to this channel. Other than that, hope to see you guys on Twitch or on checking out the videos, commenting, things like that. Appreciate your time.